Next, we look at the letter D. Again, we have that basic A shape. Take your time. And 1, and 2, and 3. Remember, lower if it's straight. And so I've come down and around, so I've done that rather than that. Bracket. I'm adding some more variations, a twist and a pull like we saw in the C. And we could even make that longer and back in and out. E, start in the middle, remember? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, the E is really interesting in that you can increase the size of the bowl or the counter space. So whereas we would start in the middle, let's start a little lower down to give a bigger counter space. You can do it by producing that shape first and then coming back in. You can also think about touching the nib in so that when you come back in, you have what looks like a wider letter, which isn't really, it's a little bit of an optical illusion. F, I'm going to do one line down. I should really do these on the same line, but because the F is so tall, I need the space to work in. Let's actually work here. So we have the bracketed F. Simple line, slightly faster. So we end up with a curl on the bottom. So what I've done is as I'm coming down on the nib, I've tilted to the right corner of the nib and lifted and turned up. Because this is finer, I've created a finer crossbar. We can have that with a little line at this roughly the same angle of the terminal. So if we're terminating at this angle, which should be 30 degrees, instead of doing a straight line along the terminal, I've just curled the line a little bit. That means that we can make the crossbar of the F a little bit longer and more decorative. You can also do this and come down, and this is typical of the Gothic period. And just using the ink in the corner, with the corner of the nib, we can pull that out in a finer line. So if we compare these two, we can see this is thicker and curling, and this is finer and curving. I would do a straight line to counter that balance. You can also do this kind of F. I would bracket that off, back this way, and this. Now, these variations are really interesting and fascinating when it comes to producing double letters, which again we'll look at in the variation section with the flourishing. You can also have a curling top and a curling base.